We are ready. We've been ready. Actually, I've been sitting here this whole time. And so we're ready to get this.
I thought you ripped it.
What'd she say?
I don't even know.
All right, we're going to start over now because we were rudely interrupted by some
Are we going to completely start
heathens.
over? Like, do you want me to start the video over?
No, it's okay. All right, ready,
Okay.
set, go.
Welcome,
Two crazy
teachers.
here
Day
on the plantation of
22.
the Masons.
The Mason Plantation. I have a
The Mason Plantation. Okay, and we are here, and we are going to talk about the word of the day.
Yes, so our word of the day is lock. Not L-O-C-K, like some of you might think. It is L-O-C-H. Have you ever heard of a lock, Mr. Hood? Bet you
No.
have. You have not? I bet you have. I bet
Like
you
a
have.
lock you put a key in?
No, L-O-C-H.
Or
It's
like,
a,
is
it's
that
a noun?
Is that a lock of like water?
Yes. I'll give you a clue.
I've gone through a lock before, I think, where they
Okay.
raise the water up.
No.
That's a canal.
That's a, well, that might be called a
No,
lock,
I think it's a
too.
lock.
Okay, well, here's the official definition. It is a noun. It is Scottish. And it is considered a lake. So a loch is technically a lake. It also can be considered an arm of the sea, especially when narrow or partially landlocked. But I am almost positive that you are correct. When you, like, take the big barges
Yeah, I think
and
they have to
flood it
raise
with
it
water
up.
and raise it and then move them.
I
I'm gonna
think
look
they
that
have
up.
to have a big lock.
Yeah, I think
to-
you're right.
All right, so what's the purpose of this word?
Okay, well, the purpose of this word goes with this day in history, which we will talk about in a little while.
Okay,
Okay?
that's all you got?
That's all I have.
Are you going to use it in a sentence?
I will use it later on.
Okay, all right, so we have some national days. I won't tell you how many they are. I'll skip today. So it is National Library Workers Day, in which we are super thankful for the library workers in all the libraries in the district.
Yes.
And so, especially our very own
Lisa
Lisa
Flannery.
Flannery. And I
Woohoo!
called and thanked her personally myself this morning. Did you?
No.
Did you send her flowers?
No. I
You're
should
supposed
have.
to.
I should
Okay.
have. It is like Secretary's Week or something like that.
I think tomorrow is Secretary's Day.
Okay.
All right. It's also Chocolate Covered Cashews Day.
I like chocolate kind of, but I don't like cashews.
It's also Kindergarten Day.
The
Okay.
wind moved that.
Unfortunately, kids can't go to
Going to
kindergarten
kindergarten.
today, and
Listen, let's give a shout out to all the kindergarten teachers in our district because they are awesome.
they're the best. They are
They're-
all the
they're
best.
like
Let
rock
me tell you
stars.
something. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. If you teach anything, well, if you're an elementary school teacher, especially a preschool or kindergarten teacher or first grade teacher, you ought to get paid double. Okay?
I'm telling you what,
You ought to
preschool
get
and
your
kindergarten-
salary and half of mine.
Well, think about this. These kids, they have, some of them have never been in school before, preschool or kindergarten, and they can't, most of them can't read yet. So they're just dependent upon you for everything. Like
They're needy.
it's crazy. Like
Needy.
you are saints.
Amazing.
You're saints.
It's National Yellow Bat Day. I don't know why that's important, but
all bats are
it's
important.
National Tea Day, and I really think this is something
We should have a cup of tea.
in Europe or United
England.
Kingdom.
England.
So we have that going on. We also, this day in history.
Wait, I have a national day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's National Bulldogs Are Beautiful Day.
They're okay.
Doesn't our neighbor have a bulldog?
I think so. I think he has a couple of them.
His name, it's a girl's name. What's his name? I can't remember what his name
Hope it's a girl.
It is a girl. It's cute. I forget what her name is. Oh, I should know this. Oh, well,
We
anyway,
don't know.
sorry.
Okay, moving on. What other day do you have? That's it?
That's. It's the Queen's birthday.
It's the Queen's birthday. Long live the Queen!
Although-
But she's not going to be able to have a birthday party
not our
because she's being quarantined, and she's like 93
Really?
or 83.
No.
I think she's 93.
Wow.
She's old. Okay,
She's aged.
she's veteran. Okay, she's beyond veteran.
She's wise.
Okay, so do you want me to do my days in history, or you want to do yours first?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Well, you pick.
You can go first.
Okay, so today, I believe it was last year or the year before, Prince died at the age of 57.
I think it was like several years ago.
I don't think it was several years ago. I think
I
it was a
think it was
few.
several
I think it
years
might have
ago.
been last year.
I think it was like 2016.
Well, that's just a few years ago. Anyway, shout out to him for,
In the grave.
I guess it's not really his birthday, so we wouldn't do a shout out. Okay,
Yeah.
Abraham. This is what's interesting. Abraham Lincoln. We talked about this a few days ago in one of our episodes, and we talked about how Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Most of the kids know of his assassination.
John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth
Okay.
killed him. He died on April 14th, or he was shot on April 14th, but he didn't die until like 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:32 the next day, at the Peterson house, which if you go on the 5th grade trip, or if you've been on the 8th grade trip before, you would have probably gone to the Peterson house.
Is it next to the Ford's Theater?
It's right across the street from the Ford's Theater,
okay.
so you can actually tour it.
Cool.
But on the 18th, he was taken to the rotunda of the Capitol, where I forget what they call
Lion State.
Lion State. I was
Yeah.
going to say let's stay in line, but
Yeah.
okay. So he stayed there for 3 days, and then he was put on a train to Springfield, Illinois. On this day, back then, and whatever year that was, I forgot what year it was. But what's interesting is he was taken to Springfield, Illinois, where he was from. He was born in Kentucky, but he had lived in Springfield, Illinois. What's interesting about Springfield, Illinois is I read a story to my kids about the Donner Party, and Miss Mason rolled her eyes when I told her this morning, but it's really interesting because Abraham Lincoln was good friends with a man by the name of James Reed. And James Reed was one of the leaders, one of the main leaders for the
Donner Party?
For the Donner Party. Okay, there were the Donners, and then there were the Reeds, and then there was another family that I can't quite think of right now. So James Reed is the one who really wanted to take this trip, and he was all about taking the shortcut that ended up being the reason that they didn't do so well. But James, I forget the guy's name. His last name was Donner. He was determined to be the leader, and so that's how it comes to be the Donner Party. If Reed had become the main leader, it would have been the Reed Party. Okay. But what's interesting is it is believed that Abraham Lincoln was supposed to go be with the Donner Party, and he had decided at the last minute not to go.
Like before he became president?
Before he got into the political arena.
Oh, wow.
He decided that
cool.
he would not do it at the not at the very last minute. It's not like he has bags packed or nothing. But it was also believed that his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, had actually gone to wish the Donner Party off and wish them good luck and that kind of stuff. So there is a good possibility that Abraham Lincoln could have been on that. Well, there's not a good possibility, but that would have changed. That could have changed our history
dramatically. Wow.
James Reed had owned a furniture business. The Reeds and the Donners, they were all fairly wealthy, but at one time James Reed's business didn't do very well. He was a furniture maker.
Sorry. It's not that it's a word.
He was a furniture maker, and Abraham Lincoln was a what before he was in the political arena?
A man of great value.
He was a lawyer.
Oh, I didn't. I think I may have.
And he had helped James Reed get some of his money and settle some of his bankruptcy. But anyway, he did not go. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. So today would have been the day that he would have
funeral train.
The funeral train would have left from Washington to Springfield, Illinois.
Wow, that's cool.
That's all I've got.
Okay, my turn.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so our word of the day was loch. It's Scottish, and what do we associate with Scotland and the word loch?
The Loch Ness Monster.
Yes! So today, in 1934, the Loch Ness photo, and the Loch Ness Monster was affectionately referred to as Nessie. I guess because it was Loch Ness, I don't know. And it was printed by the Daily Mail, which is a newspaper, I think, in Scotland. And it was widely known as the surgeon's photograph. So this is the first time that the picture of the Loch Ness Monster was printed. Now, here's what's kind of crazy. So the Loch Ness Monster, and I don't know if you knew this or not, I had to read about this a little bit. It was a myth that dated back to like ancient times. Okay, so it's not like everybody was just like, oh my goodness, all of a sudden there's a Loch Ness Monster. And so it was carried forth through Scottish folklore. Mm-hmm. Like through the, folklore is like when stories that are told and retold and retold throughout the ages. And what happened is this Daily Mail, they commissioned this guy called Marmaduke Wetherall. Isn't the name Marmaduke cool?
That's what you
It is cool. So they commissioned him to find this Loch Ness Monster, okay? So he says he found it, all right? And he said he found footprints of this Loch Ness Monster. So they were large, and I forget the dimensions, but they're big footprints. But it was later determined that these footprints were made with an umbrella stand or like an ashtray of some sort. So it's almost like a stand that was sitting on the ground but came up and was big and heavy, that had the leg of a hippo as a base. So because the footprints were identical. And so the person, whoever did it, like stamped it in the ground, and they realized that that's what they were made from. And because we all know, just probably like fingerprints, every single fingerprint is different. A lot of footprints, I guess, are different too. Okay, so this photograph that was published in 1934, of course, it created like this international sensation, but it was later revealed to be a hoax in 1994. And they talked about how they thought that it was a hoax because the guy, this Robert Wilson, was the one who took the photo or published the photograph, and they said that it was like a wooden like neck and head that was attached to a toy submarine, and that's how they got the picture of it in some way. But yeah, that's kind of cool, Britannica.
So, are you saying the Loch Ness Monster is not real?
Yeah, that's a true story. Now, some people still believe in it, but it's not real. Sorry.
I think this is like breaking news. I don't think I thought it was real.
It might be breaking news for like young adults or those who are young at heart.
Oh.
But don't look young.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first on Two Crazy Teachers that the Loch Ness Monster is not real. I'm gonna check these facts.
It's really cool, but they thought that the whole reason that it was revealed as a hoax, or why it was a hoax, was like this Weatherall guy was like really mad that people had discredited his footprints, and so then he was gonna prove that this it's dramatic. You need to research about it. Okay?
I'm going to, because I don't believe you.
Okay, so the next thing in history, in 1838, American naturalist John Muir.
Didn't this happen before?
Yeah, but I'm not going in date order.
You're going backwards in time.
I am back in time. With Two Crazy Teachers. That's what our segment should be called.
Back
in time.
With Two Crazy
Teachers.
Start over.
There we go.
That's the
All
real.
right, here we go.
All right, here we go.
Okay. So American naturalist John Muir. Of course, I asked Hood. I said John Muir. I said John Muir is born, and he was like, "Who's that?" Yeah. Well, if you are a true conservationist and environmentalist, John Muir is just synonymous with the national parks. Okay. So he was an advocate for U.S. forest conservation, and he helped establish both the Sequoia National Park, the Yosemite National Park. He also helped establish Mount Rainier National Park and the Grand Canyon National Park. And I've been to Mount Rainier and I've been to the Grand Canyon.
I've been to the Grand Canyon too.
The Grand Canyon is awesome. Mount Rainier is, I love it. Anyway, so he was born, guess where he was born? Guess
Kentucky.
what country?
Oh.
No, not Kentucky. He lived in California, but guess where he was born?
Japan.
No, Scotland. I didn't even know that. I was looking up the Loch Ness stuff, and then I was looking up the John Muir stuff. He was born in Scotland. So he basically, now this is cool, kiddos. This is your like language arts power lesson. He was an advocate. So he tried to help preserve these beautiful lands, and he did it through writing. So he wrote and published articles in widely known magazines, and he won the public's favor, and he won the politicians' favor, like the Congress favor of Congress, I should say. And that's how he became this huge force in getting these lands protected. I forget the president. One of them was Teddy Roosevelt, not the president right now, was Teddy Roosevelt, but he took him camping in one of the wilderness areas, and that's how he kind of won over him as well, to show him what our landscape of the United States had to offer. And so during that time, there were like, I don't know the number, but there were a ton of areas that were designated as nationally protected areas because of John Muir. So he's pretty cool. I thought it was awesome that he was born in Scotland, but yet he advocated so highly for the United States and the lands of the United States. So,
that is interesting.
Yep. That's all I got.
Well, the last thing, Miss Mason's mom brought this to her kids. It's called the Zube tube, and it makes all these cool noises. And so Landra, her son, I hope you don't care if I name drop him, was playing with it. And I said, this is called the Ultimate Cosmic Sound Machine. And this is an original toy, okay?
It is.
It was probably, maybe come to the conclusion, probably around 1989, okay? Which is almost 30 years ago. Yeah, about 30. Yeah. 29 years ago.
I was born in 81, so I was 8 years old.
Okay, and
it's my original toy. It's in pristine condition.
Anyway,
No.
Oh, I was thinking you were born in 85, but you're much older than that. Oh,
How old are you? When were you born?
84. So I was like, this is kind of a big toy for a 4-year-old, but you were an 8-year-old.
Oh, I was a giant too.
Could you see little Miss Mason walking around doing this? So anyway,
loved all
the
those
reason
songs.
this was developed is what's it called? The guy,
Physicist.
she said that's a real hard word, and there's no way I
Physicist.
could possibly ever learn how to pronounce it.
Physicist.
Had taken 2 cups, and he had taken a slinky, and he realized he could get all these crazy noises by hooking the 2 cups in the slinky, and I don't know if that's what's inside this, but there
Yeah,
are
you
2
can feel
cups
it.
right here. There's a cup here, a solo cup here, and a solo cup. Oh, there is! I thought I got
Yeah, it's like a
electrocuted.
gigantic
There's
coil.
there's a coil in there, okay? And so it makes these cool noises. So
Which
anyway,
are great when you're outside, but when you're in the confines of your house.
I'm gonna encourage her kids to play with this all day. This is a gift that never stops giving. All right, this is 2 Crazy Teachers, and I'm gonna go look up about the Loch Ness Monster right now.
Bye.